yogis, welcome to Move with Anna. Today, I want to do a little bit of restorative work with you. So that means it's not going to be kind of a hard workout so much, but some more deep stretching. We'll mostly be down on our mat. We'll do a few things standing. Today's point is really just kind of a nice, good stretch. Really nice to do in conjunction with another workout or on its own if you just need something a little bit more restorative today. Let's get started. Come down onto your back on your mat. Where I want you to start, it's called Supta Bharakanasana. So that means kissing the soles of your feet together and then letting your knees fall out nice and wide. You can bring one hand to your heart, one to your belly. If you like, you can also just leave your arms down by their sides, whatever feels good for you. We're going to be here just for a few breaths, and you'll start to feel that nice hip opening as your knees kind of are naturally pulled down by gravity. Maybe even close your eyes here. And I want you to take a couple of deep, rich, full inhales through the nose. And an open mouth exhale. Good, another deep inhale. With the hand on the belly, you'll feel your belly rise and fill with air. Good, and on the exhale, open mouth. Good, releasing all the air out. This time I want you to seal your lips together and take your inhalations and exhalations through the nose. Good, making those breaths as long as possible, drawing them out. Take one more deep, rich, full breath with me. Beautiful. Open your eyes if they're not. And drop your hands down and then slowly bring your knees together. You can close them like the pages of a book. I want to take a couple gentle side stretches. So let the knees fall to the right and then fall to the left. You can gaze the opposite way your knees go if you like. The shoulders stay down on the ground. So with the breath, inhaling to come up, exhaling, knees fall. Inhale up, exhale, knees fall. Good, two more on each side. Good, last side. Good, yogis. And then bring the knees up to center. Next, we're going to take a supine figure 4. So I usually start on the right side. You can start on either side. We're going to do both. So bring that right ankle up over the thigh here. And go ahead and rest that knee there. And then grab the back of the thigh and gently pull in. So gently pull that left thigh, if you're doing the right side first, in towards your chest. And you can even use this arm as kind of leverage to press against this bent knee here to give even more of a hip opening. So you'll feel that nice and deep in the hip. And you can use your breath in this posture to go a little deeper as you inhale and exhale, pull in just gently. You don't have to yank or force. Let it open naturally here. Good, one more breath on this side. And then gently let that sole of the foot on the right side fall over to the left side of your body. Take a breath in here and then twist. Draw your gaze over to the right side here. And stay for another round of breath in through the nose, out through the nose. And coming back up to center, and we'll switch sides. So opposite leg comes on top. The ankle stacks in front of the thigh, knee is bent here. And then go ahead and pull the back of that thigh gently If that's hard for you, if you're not able to reach, you can also stay here if you're feeling enough sensation. There's no right or wrong here, especially with these nice restorative postures. All that really matters here is that you're getting a nice stretch. So keep breathing here and remember to use your exhales to pull your leg in just a little deeper. Get a nice hip opening here. Good, and then once you feel nice and even, we're gonna go ahead and drop down. The sole of that left foot is meeting the ground, and then you're gonna find yourself in this nice side stretch, and we'll stay here for a breath in and a breath out. Good, and one more breath in and out. Good, now that we have a little bending in, we've got our breath nice and centered. Bend the knees back to center. And I want you to start to rock and roll gently, just the length of your spine here. Take your time, almost like you're giving your spine a massage along the way. And then once you have a little momentum, rock up, plant the hands, step back into a tabletop. You're on your hands and your knees. So wrists are stacked right under your shoulders, hips are over your knees here. So here from your tabletop, we'll take some cat-cow postures, warming through the spine. Inhale, belly drops, collarbone spread. Gentle gaze up and exhale, cat. Round through the spine, tuck chin to chest. Find that space all along these vertebrae. Feels so wonderful. Next, inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Beautiful, 2 more rounds. Excellent, my friends. Come back to your neutral tabletop position here. I want you to inhale, sweep your right arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. So you're sending that arm underneath the gate of your left arm here. Options here, you can walk these fingertips forward and tent them. If you like a half bind and to grab around that side of your hip, that feels really nice too. If you want a little more of that shoulder opening. Wherever it's feeling good for you, use your breath here. Inhale, exhale. Good, and then on your next inhale, I want you to sweep the arm back to the sky and return to your neutral tabletop. We'll switch sides. Breath in as the left arm sweeps high. Exhale, thread the needle, send it through. Go ahead and rest your cheek onto the mat and then take that same arm variation you did on the first side. Either hands walk forward or take that around the side to your hip. Good, my friends, another breath. And then once you're feeling nice and even, plant the hand back down. You'll sweep the arm back to the sky and then return to your tabletop. From your tabletop, you're gonna come onto your feet here and come into your downward facing dog. Nice little pedal out here. I love that first downward facing dog of class. Feels so good, like you're kind of working something out. You're pedaling here. Take a few more pedals. Good. And then I want you to really melt the heels down. It doesn't matter if your heels are reaching the mat. There's no right or wrong. Your knees can be really bent. That's totally fine. Meet yourself where you are and how open your hamstrings, that back line of your body is. Really plant the palms down into the earth. And I want you to take 2 more nice full rounds of breath here in your down dog. Beautiful, my friends. From your downward facing dog, inhale, sweep the right leg high, and then exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Send that heel towards the glute. Find that nice stretch along the side body, and then replace the foot back down to the mat. Take your other side, lift the leg high, bend the knee, open the hip. Oh, delicious side stretch here. and nice little hip opening, and then replace the foot back down to the mat. Now I want you to walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet. I want your feet hip width distance here at least, and take a generous bend in your knees at least to start. We're going to take a Ragdoll pose. So for Ragdoll, you can take all kinds of arm variations. You can just drop your arms here. You can grab for opposite elbows. You can take a little traction on the back of your neck. Or you can take a chest expansion here if that feels good. Wherever you are, all I want you to do really is make sure the crown of the head is dropping down towards the mat. I want you to release that and breathe. Maybe even close your eyes. This is a nice place to take some rolls back and forth with the head. Shake it yes and no. Maybe open and close the jaw a few times. Release any tension you feel. Maybe visualize anything you want to let go of, just spilling out the crown of your head. Release it. Let it absorb down into the earth. Good. A lot of nice inversion here with the head down below the heart. Feels so good. Another breath, yogis. Stay here. You can keep those knees bent, or you can start to straighten them for more of a hamstring stretch. Just depends on where you want to feel things. And then drop the hands, release whatever arm variation, give yourself a halfway lift, go ahead and toe heel the feet back to touch. And I want you to use your full inhale to rise all the way up, one vertebrae at a time at the top, head lifts last. Beautiful. So from your standing position, take a couple shoulder rolls back and a couple forward. Lovely. I even like to take some of these like neck pulls. I just, we get like tension in strange areas of our body depending on kind of what we do all day. So take a moment to work any of that out that you need. And once you've got all that worked out, come back to just standing. So feel really rooted down onto your feet. Feel your navel come into the spine, and then take an inhale. Sweep the arms above the head. I want you to join your palms together at the top. You can just keep them at prayer. You can interlace them. Doesn't really matter. I just want your palms together. And then I want you to step that right foot behind the left here. Reach nice and tall and take a side bend over to your left, like a curtsy side stretch. Good, and find that length all along the side body here. Breath in and breath out. Beautiful side stretch. And then we're going to switch sides. So whatever side you haven't done yet, probably your left foot comes behind now. And inhale and exhale, bend over in the other direction. Good. Feeling that beautiful side stretch. Another breath. Good, my friends. Back to center. We'll release our hands. From here, I want you to step your feet nice and wide to the sides of your mat. So the knife edges of your feet are nice and parallel to the mat. And from here, I want to take a pose called Prasarita or simply wide-legged forward fold. So you're going to inhale, sweep the arms out. And as you exhale, you're going to go ahead and fold forward. You'll dip down. You may grab the sides of your feet if you like. You can also rest your palms or your forearms down. Let your head dangle. Go ahead and release the head here. And again, just like that ragdoll pose, you always have options with your hands. So if you do want a chest expansion here, this is another great spot. If your shoulders are tight and you'd like some shoulder opening, another nice thing you can do is plant one hand and use your breath, inhale, sweeping up, getting this side stretch. If you don't want to do any of this, just stay down in your forward fold. It feels so good, and it's really nice, deep stretch. Good, so that's one option. Otherwise, you're staying here, maybe grabbing for the sides of the feet or not. You can also walk the hands kind of back behind you. I do like a million different little variations in my Prasarita because it's such a great posture with so many beautiful variations here. Good. 2 more full breaths here in your Prasarita, please. One more full breath in and out. And then as you inhale, half lift, just come halfway up. Our next stop is a pose called Skandasana. So sink down towards the right or left side. We're going to do both sides, so I'm not really attached to what side you do first. So for Skandasana, this foot where you're sinking towards, the heel can be flush down on the earth, or it may be lifted. That's totally fine. Every body is a little different, so just meet yourself where you're at, whatever feels good. What we're going for here, so those toes on the straightened leg are going to be pointing up. You want this nice long stretch here, this kind of a groin opening. You're getting the inside of your knee, maybe your hamstring in the back. Good, and you can bring the hands up to prayer. You can tent the arms. You can fly the arms. You can take a bind. There's so many nice options. That's what I love about yoga, is there's no real right or wrong, as long as you're not misaligned or doing anything with a shooting pain, which is never good. There's so many options, and it's really about your body and what you need to feel. Knowing if you do feel any pain in this knee here, you can always keep your knee bent too. And you can, kind of come up here. These are modifications that you always want to take some sort of modification if you feel any sharp shooting pain. That's not good. Like if it's a little painful to hold something, that's not bad. We just don't want shooting pain. So come walk over into your Skandasana on the other side. We always even out, of course. And again, you have all those options available to you. Heel flat or lifted. I do want those toes pointed up. This knee can be bent or straight. Get that nice opening. And then all of your arm variations that you like are available. Good. And breathing here. We're going to go ahead and just even out. So we're here for just a few more breaths. Good. Sinking in. Feel that opening, releasing. Beautiful, you guys. And then what I want you to do here is walk around to the front of your mat. I want you to come back into your downward facing dog. Pedal out. Feels so good here. On the next inhale, sweep your right leg high. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands and tap the back knee down. Good, and then come on up. And if you'd like a few breaths with your arms lifted, that feels nice. I always bring my palms to my thigh when I'm holding this posture for a few breaths. I feel this great psoas opening when I do that, so I like to kind of sink in. A lot of people have different variations, again, that they like in this pose. A nice one is a side stretch towards the front leg. A really nice one is a back bend. You can also take a cactus arm variation. Good, so whatever you're doing in this posture, we're getting that hip flexor open, and we're just spending a few more breaths here. There's no right or wrong. Good, and then once you are done there, I want you to release both hands to the inside of the foot. Toe heel that right foot out to the very edge of your mat. And from here, we're going to take a runner's lunge. So, runner's lunge variations. You can stay upright just like this, and the back knee can even be lifted here. It kind of depends on where you want to feel this. My favorite variation of runner's lunge is to come down onto my forearms and sink in, because I feel like this nice outer hip opening here. You can press onto the inside of that bent front knee, come onto the knife edge of that foot. I feel something kind of in a different area of my hip there, feels great. Or just sit here and marinate in whatever kind of level of deepness you're going. Remember, no right or wrong. There's not less or more. It's about meeting your body where it's at, listening to your body, complementing all the other things you do in your life. Good. And then if you'd like to take a quad stretch, this is my other kind of favorite thing to do in runner's lunge. I'll come back up usually on my palms for this and then reach back and grab that back foot. So sometimes that might not be accessible. You can always grab a strap or something to loop around your foot if you have one handy. And then just working that kind of quad opening. So heel kind of comes towards the glute as far as it will or not. Again, just meet yourself where you're at here. Beautiful, friends. And then go ahead and release as you're ready. We're going to make our way back to our downward facing dog. Pedal out for a few breaths. And then next stop is moving on to our left side. The leg sweeps high on an inhale. The exhale brings the foot through and the back knee taps down. So we're taking our crescent moon on this side. So whatever you did on the other side, if you came up with your arms lifted, if you took a side bend or a back bend variation, whatever that is, or perhaps you were just sinking down with your palms on your thighs here, or staying with your arms lifted. Take that same variation you did on the first side. Get that even kind of stretch. This is one of my favorite stretches. If I had like 2 things that I had to do, if I only had 5 minutes every day to do yoga and I needed hip opening, I would take this and I would take probably a half pigeon on each side. And if that's really all you have time for, it's better than nothing, and it's going to be a great complement to anything else you do, whether it's running, biking, or if you do a lot of work at a desk or driving. Really important to get those hips stretched back out. Good, and then we will come down on our hands. We're gonna toe heel the foot out to the edge of the mat, and it's time for our runner's lunge variation on this side. So again, whatever's working for you, whatever level you like to go to, it's totally fine, no right or wrong. And maybe just making sure you're evening out. So if you took this sort of motion to open the hip, come on the knife edge of the foot, get that here. We're here for a few more breaths. And once you're feeling nice and even from your runner's lunge from the other side, I want you to come back up onto the palms and even yourself with a quad stretch. So for your quad stretch, knowing that if you've got a strap or even a towel, like you can hook a hand towel around your foot and just pull it here. That's, we have all kinds of tools around the house we can use. They do make those fabulous yoga straps with the little loop that I love so much too, that are great for all kinds of postures, which I will use in some of my other classes as a prop. Beautiful. When you're even, let that foot go, plant the hand, come back out into your downward facing dog. It's time for my absolute favorite hip opening stretch, and that's a half pigeon. Know that if you do have knee issues, you may want to go ahead and take that pose that we started with on the back, the supine figure 4, and just work on that, coming deeper. If you're following along for a half pigeon, you're going to sweep the leg up and then forward. So you can also take a full pigeon if that's something you like. You know it if that's your thing. So the shin comes parallel-ish to the front of the mat. Mine's never really totally parallel. You just meet yourself where you're at. Hips feel different every day. So some days my hips are way tighter. It just depends on what I've been doing. And you can stay upright here for a few breaths. Maybe you go ahead and peek over your right shoulder. Make sure that back foot is straight and it's an extension of your leg. It's nice and straight. Square the hips, breath in. And then if you're coming down for that sleeping pigeon variation, just go ahead and rest down if this feels good. And you can stay upright if you're feeling already a lot of sensation that way. This is a good one just to close your eyes and take a few moments of silence. If you have the time, I would actually pause this video and take like a 3-minute pigeon on each side. That's if you have the time. This is just such a fabulous hip opener, and it's really good restorative work to hold these postures for a long time. There's spots that feel particularly tight. You can take an inhale and imagine that fresh oxygen flowing all the way into your bloodstream, right to that spot. Kind of visualize it opening, healing. Good, and then gently starting to come up. Pressing the hands down. Again, feel free to pause this if you've got like some variation. A lot of people like mermaid or a quad stretch from here. I'm not going to cue any of that today, but you know who you are, and always make this practice your own. Pedal your dog back out. Maybe lift that hip or lift the leg and open that hip back up. We'll replace that foot down to the mat. Time for our left side. Inhale as the leg sweeps up to the sky, and as you exhale, come forward. Good. So, again, set yourself up here. Peek over your left shoulder this time. Make sure that right leg is straight. The foot is kind of an extension of the leg there. You don't want like sickled ankles or anything like that. So a nice straight leg. And if you gaze over the left side, so you gaze over the leg that's forward, you gaze over that shoulder to square the hip. That'll kind of help. And noticing already on this side, like my left hip is always a little bit tighter, so my leg isn't quite as parallel. That's okay. It's just our bodies. Our hips are kind of, you know, we almost always have one that's tighter. Our bodies are not symmetrical. Our lives we lead are not symmetrical. It's very normal. And just let it go. Release it. No judgment. Sending the breath to that tight spot. And if you do have one side that's particularly tighter, feel free to, hold that side for a few extra breaths. You don't want to hold it for like a totally disproportionate amount of time, but it's totally fine to hold one side for a little bit longer, especially if that side is tight, if you need some deep work there. That's totally acceptable. But if you're feeling nice and even, time to come up. And you'll make your way back to your downward facing dog. And I want you to pedal out gently here. Good. And then take that same motion with the hip. If you did on the other side, open it back up. I love that. Get some blood flowing back through. And then down on your mat. We have just a few more poses here in our restorative practice I want to do. And the first one is a seated forward fold. I love this posture. I always like to start by kind of removing my fleshy bits here from my sits bones, so you feel really rooted down that way. And then you'll extend your legs straight out in front of you. Knees can be bent in this posture. That's totally fine. They can be straight. Flex the toes back towards the face here. Inhaling to sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to send your heart forward towards your toes. You may or may not be reaching the feet. Just grab for whatever's accessible. It's fine. You can just put your hands on the mat. If you can reach your feet, great. If you're one of those uber flexies and you can get all the way down flat, that's wonderful. Good for you. Use your breath to go even deeper there. So for this posture, if your knees are a little bent to start, and you can bend them as much as you want. If you're really looking to touch your feet, that's fine. Using the breath, an inhale will Bring that spine nice and tall. The exhale will send heart to toes. And you can gradually start to straighten the legs here in this posture too. I really like to use my breath to deepen. Each exhale, I try to come just a little bit deeper here. I like to keep a straight spine here and work on sending the heart towards the toes and getting my legs a little straighter. I have pretty tight hamstrings here, so this is not a pose that I tend to be totally flat and open in. Always working towards that. Good, and then come on up from your seated forward fold. And next we're gonna take a seated separate leg stretch. So I want you to send that right leg out nice and long, flex the toes again, and then pull the sole of that left foot in. Again, you're rooted on your sits bones. Inhale for the arms to come high. Exhale, fold over the straightened leg and dip down. Spine long and down. But I'm one of those people that's always like really using my breath to move deeper into a posture, gently getting deeper. And if this is something where you just want to melt, relax, especially if you're somebody that's already super open and you just want to stay and melt and let that gravity, your body weight, be your resistance, that's fine. You can always make it as active or passive as you like. Okay, come on up, and then time to switch the legs out. So opposite leg extends, and then the sole of the other foot comes into the thigh flush here. Arms sweep high with a big inhale, and then you're gonna fold over. And release, gently, slowly, with the breath. Lovely. Once you're feeling nice and even, you'll come up from this side. And I want to take, before we get down on our back for just a final twist to close this out, I want to take a seated twist. So for a seated twist, you'll want to start, I'll try to mirror you guys, with your right leg over on top. Again, sits bones stay rooted here. So the right leg comes over, that foot is planted. This foot is, knife edge or so. Right hand plants down on the earth. Inhale, sweep, left arm to sky, and exhale, twist. Love this one. So spine grows tall on the inhale. The exhale brings it deeper. Twisting and breathing. Good. Some days I can even feel like a little kind of crack in that. Switch the legs out. It's almost like a little free chiropractic adjustment you can give yourself. Didn't get one of those on that side today. Maybe this side it'll happen. So inhale, sweep the right arm to the sky, and exhale, twist. Good, really using the breath. Spine grows tall as you inhale, the exhale twists. One more breath. Beautiful, my friends, coming back to center. And then it's time to give it down on our mat, close it out. Really gentle, restorative practice here. And I want you to take, before our final twist here, I want you to give yourself a happy baby pose. So you're gonna grab for the sides of the feet and really pull the knees in, down towards your armpits. Good, pulling in. Maybe you like to rock side to side, or even straighten one leg out and then the other. You can do whatever you want in this posture. Good, so then from your happy baby, release down. Relax the left leg down to the earth, and you're gonna pull the right knee in towards your armpit. Give it a nice tight squeeze here. Feel some compression. And then take a supine twist. So roll that right leg over and gaze your right leg goes towards the left, your gaze is right or up, and keep your shoulders on the ground here. Looking for that lengthening here along the side body. Good, my friends. Coming back to center, and then the right leg relaxes down towards the earth, and you'll pull the left knee in. Nice and tight. Give it a good squeeze. Feels delicious. As you're ready, come over into your supine twist on this side, and no need to yank that leg down. Let it fall naturally. Your hand can assist here just a little bit, but let it be gentle here. Beautiful yogis. Come back to center. Pull your knees in. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze. Biggest hug you've had all day. And if you have the time, highly recommend taking a Savasana for 5 minutes or 2 minutes. If you have the time, it's such a beautiful way to end your practice. Your palms will be up, eyes are closed, legs out nice and wide. So you can go ahead and pause me or end the video here if you like. And take that Savasana. However, if you don't have time for that today, that's okay. You made it through this restorative practice, which is great, just to make it to your mat and get some nice deeper stretching. A little more restorative work is so good certain days in our lives. Palms come to heart center. Always an honor to guide you. Thank you for joining Move with Anna. Namaste.